Hi, everyone. In the last few years, a lot has changed in how people create, consume, and share stories. Today, I would like to share some of the insights. But before I start, I would like to give you some background information of my company, Wattpad. This weekend, Wattpad will turn 9. It's a long time ago, so I would like to start with sharing this picture. I took this picture in my basement right after we started the company in year 2006. I was reading Moby Dick on this Motorola Razr phone. Obviously, a lot has changed since. So last month, people spent over 13 billion minutes on Wattpad. And we are in a pole position to create the future of storytelling. So what really is Wattpad? Wattpad is an app that lets people discover and share stories. Wattpad stories range from science fiction to romance stories to fan fiction and everything in between. I don't want to bore you with all the numbers, but I just want to highlight two numbers. 90% of the usage from our users, from our 40 million strong user base, they consume Wattpad content on mobile. And number two, they are also creating a lot of content. Every month, there are over 2 million writers share at least one chapter on Wattpad. In total, they share over 10 million chapters in a month. US is our #1 traffic source, but over 70% of our traffic is coming from outside of the US, and it's equally divided among Europe, Asia, and Latin America. It's a global phenomenon. We support over 50 different languages. And our company vision is to connect 1 billion people through stories. And we want to bring them entertainment and inspiration. But the numbers, they don't tell you the whole story. I would like to ask you to spend 1 minute to watch this video.
Day in, day out,
and it will give you some idea.
By her. Strangers with only cursory familiarity, aiming for a quick fix, and then poof, off into the world. She knew the routine well enough. Grind, pull, pour. Grind, pull, pour. Grind, pull, pour. Alicia's daily grind was wearing her down. She was sleepwalking through life, and no amount of caffeine could wake her up. She wasn't sure when he'd arrived, but the old man had been sitting at the end of the bar for hours. And I'm here to tell you all of it, about a destiny far bigger than one coffee shop.
Mira esto. Can I get an Americano, please? Excuse me.
Sure.
Thanks.
A lot has changed in the last 10 years. It all comes down to these 5 things in how people change the behavior in creating content, consuming content, and sharing content. Mobile, personalized content, serialization, having conversation, and deep engagement. First, mobile. This is the device that you carry with you all the time. So trying to get entertainment from the device that you carry all the time makes perfect sense. But what's also changed in the last few years is the mobile device is becoming a very, very good input device. So a lot of our users, they are also writing on Wattpad, on their mobile devices. In fact, more than half our users, they are writing on mobile. Many of them, they write over 1 million words exclusively on their mobile devices. Number two, as mobile internet, always on internet is becoming ubiquitous, the content that people consume on their mobile devices or on desktop devices can be stored in the cloud. And through machine learning, companies like Wattpad, we are able to really fine-tune our recommendation algorithm to push the most relevant stories to the users. And number three, people can start writing chapter by chapter again. In the good old days, when people want to publish a book, they have to finish the entire book in the closet before sharing anything with anyone. But now, after writing the first chapter, push a button, boom, millions of people can read that and get instant feedback. That feedback loop really helps the writer to get to hone the craft and improve their writings. And when the writers publish a chapter, we instantly send out push notifications to the readers and bring the users back to read that chapter. And each chapter is about 10 to 15 minutes long, so it's the perfect use case when you're waiting in line in your daily commute on a train. You can spend that 10 or 15 minutes to read a chapter. We make long-form content bite-sized, digestible. Reading and writing traditionally is a very solitary experience. You read all by yourself and you write all by yourself. But that's changed completely. You can now have a direct connection with the readers, with the writers, and among the readers and the writers. So the writers, they get instant feedback, and the readers, they feel like they're part of the story as well. And not only the readers and writers, they can interact among themselves, they can also interact with the stories. For instance, the readers, after reading a chapter, they can propose to the writer, hey, perhaps the storyline should be like this rather than this. So the readers, not only they are consuming content anymore, they're actively becoming content creators as well. They change the storyline, they can create videos for the writers, and they can create fan arts for the writers. And this is one example. If you go onto the internet, go onto Instagram, and do a search, you'll find millions of fan arts created by our users. So there are only so many only a handful of big media types out there. Video, images, audio, and then written word. We are seeing the same thing across all the different media types. For each media type, there's one network, one and only one network that does all the things that I talk about: mobile, interaction, engagement, and bite-sized content. So before I conclude my presentation, I would like to share with you two case studies. Number one is a story called After. Anna Todd, she's a 25-year-old stay-home housewife. She has never written anything before. But a few years ago, she discovered an app called Wattpad. And after seeing so many writers having fun sharing the content, she wanted to try it out as well. She wrote a chapter, posted it on Wattpad, got some feedback, got some comments, and then she was encouraged to write another chapter, and then another chapter, and then another chapter. And 300 chapters later, written all on her mobile device, she generated over 1 billion chapter reads on Wattpad and 6 million comments. And she got so popular that we worked with Anna and Simon & Schuster and helped her to get traditionally published. And her book, After, instantly became a New York Times bestseller, and also the #1 best-selling book in France, #1 best-selling book in Spain as well. And we are also turning this into a movie, working with Paramount. And as I mentioned, Wattpad is also very popular in other countries. We are seeing the same thing in the Philippines. So over 500 stories has been published in the Philippines, and many of them are becoming bestseller, including many of the #1 best-selling stories, and also turning into blockbuster movies and TV shows as well. So as reading and writing has been completely democratized, we are seeing unlimited supply of content. Also unique content that never been published before. And we also see readers and writers highly engaged, interacting with each other. And the free nature of the internet is accelerating this process on your device that you carry all the time. So before I wrap up, I would like to share one tweet that I saw a couple of years ago sent by United Nations. And I was so moved when I see this because I know Wattpad has been helping so many people read and write more around the world. And in a world when everyone is obsessed with the unicorns, the billion-dollar value company, I was so happy that I probably have brought home $1 billion, but not to my home. Thank you.